Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be going over, I think, the last of the rogue bows, because I've been going over, like, all the rogue bows, and, because why not? Because we need to go over all the unique items, and this is just one of the many. One of us. This is the Skyhunter. Now, the Skyhunter does have an interesting distinction from the other bows, the other two. There are the Wind Force bow and the Eaglehorn bow, and that is that the Wind Force is based around Barrage now, and the Eaglehorn is based around Penetrating Shot, but the Skyhunter is just based around whatever. Like, it's just whatever you want to use. And it's pretty nice. It does have a generic marksman skills cast twice, which is really effective. And we're going to talk about this as a generic option. And let's go ahead and put, like, one of these on so we have one equipped, and we'll talk about one. So first off, we've got the Implicit, which is 170% critical strike damage. This one is not something that you can masterwork or improve or greater affix. It's just a passive effect that's on the bow, just for wearing the bow. On top of this, we also get a 14 to 18% increased attack speed, which is very nice, of course, to attack faster. And it also gives a 196 to 250% critical strike damage. And as you can see from this one, could go up to 375% critical strike damage, which is not terrible. On top of this, we also have a bonus to the marksman skills projectiles, casting twice. And this is just any ability that is considered a marksman skill, which is actually really cool. So, like, for instance, Puncture is considered a marksman skill. And you might notice that Puncture also casts twice with this particular item on. So I can get, like, double punctures. And I'm not even set up for Puncture, but, like, it's still pretty darn nice. Get your tail out of my face, sir. Big old monster tail. Look at all this fur you putting on me. Look at all this fuzz. Probably one of them things I sucked down earlier. I'll make fun of my chinchillas. They hang out with me all day while I'm streaming and keep me company, and I appreciate it. That's right. I said it, you turd. I said I appreciate your existence. You don't even care. Big old fluffy butt. Look at this fluff. Look at this fluffy butt. Big old fluffy butt. So leave my butt alone. So having the ability to double up all your marksman skills is really interesting. And of course, there's tons of skills that are marksman skills. Your Forceful Arrow is a marksman, Heartseeker is a marksman, Puncture is a marksman, Barrage is a marksman, Rapid Fire is a marksman, Penetrating Shot is a marksman. They're all marksman skills, and they can all potentially benefit from this item. The other thing that you get with this particular item is the +1 to Stutter Step. Now, Stutter Step is a passive. It does go to +2, obviously. But when you get your Stutter Step, it does give you the ability to critically striking an enemy grants a 5% movement speed bonus for 4 seconds. So you're going to get just a little bit of extra movement bonus when you're critically striking targets. And it's going to be pretty much constant because, I mean, it's really easy to get critical strikes in this game. On top of this, we also have the unique effect. And the unique effect on this item is the first direct damage that you deal to an enemy is a guaranteed critical strike. When you consume stacks of precision casting a skill, the skill gains a 60%, up to a 60% increased critical strike damage, and you gain 60 energy. Which, the 60 energy that you gain from this is actually really nice, to be perfectly honest. It's a fun little, like, game that you can play. Now, what is precision? Precision is actually a specific ability. So if you're using this bow, you are not using a specific ability, like, you know, like specifically like Rapid Fire or Penetrating Shot or Barrage, but you are going to be using this, which is the Precision Key passive. So this particular bow enhances the Precision Key passive. And I don't know what my chinchilla back here is chewing on. So like a nodule. Look at that. Yeah, that's what you get. You almost fell off. Ha.
Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Ginger Evil Mentor here. Why bother farming when you can go to MMOEXP.com and simply purchase your items in gold? GGM would have you farm the items. What a pathetic being. Use code GEM Ginger Evil Mentor for 6% off your entire purchase. And don't tell Ginger Gaming Mentor that I was here.
Chewing on the back of my shirt for some reason. I'm gonna have a hole back there. So if you're using this bow, you're beefing up precision specifically, which is the key passive. So you see, when you when you cast a marksman skill, you gain a stack of precision. You gain an additional stack of precision if that skill critically strikes once per cast. When you reach 4 stacks of precision, your next marksman or ultimate or core skill is guaranteed critical strike. It deals 50 times increased critical strike damage, consuming all of the stacks of precision. This damage is further increased by 15% times of your critical strike damage bonus. So this bow is specifically designed around the idea of enhancing that critical strike damage of your attacks, and also allowing you to build as many stacks as possible and giving you huge amounts of energy back in the process. As you can see, I'm able to maintain a pretty long duration of attacks with the precision stacks just by simply holding down the button. Now, there are other ways that I can augment this, of course, by adding in a little bit more energy here and there, and pretty much just completely make the process like 100% hold down the button. It's certainly not a bad bow by any stretch of the imagination, and if you are using the precision key passive in your setup, you can definitely get some really nice effects from it. Like, for instance, right now, I'm not using the precision key passive. I'm using Victimize. So let's swap over to the precision key passive, and let's see how that changes our output. And I'm just not even going to use any of my abilities. I'm just going to hold down the button. And as you can see here, I'm able to maintain my energy output pretty much entirely just by simply firing penetrating shots, which is actually pretty crazy. So as you can see, like, I don't necessarily even need to use the abilities that I was using to mitigate some of the energy concerns, because the energy that I'm getting back through the precision key passive and Skyhunter is making it basically an infinite cast. On top of this, we also have the precision key passive giving us damage bonuses, the Skyhunter giving us more damage bonuses, and then the first direct damage you deal to an enemy is a guaranteed critical strike. Since the precision key passive is based off of dealing critical strikes, and the more critical strikes you have, obviously, the more stacks of the precision that you generate, and so forth and so on. It basically just feeds into itself, and it is definitely a very solid bow if you are using the precision key passive. If you're not using the precision key passive, well, then maybe this isn't the right bow for you. But it definitely is a generic, all-encompassing bow that can be used with just about any setup. You could use it with, freaking even basic builds if you wanted, but I don't think it would be the best choice. It does give a massive amount of critical strike damage, though. I mean, with my greater affix roll of the 375 and then the 170 that's on the item, I mean, you're looking at, what is that, 2 or 4, 5, 40... So like 545% critical strike damage just for putting on the bow. I mean, let's take a look at our key passive and see what this scaling is. It would be 194.7 just with the bow on. And if I take the bow off, it is 72.1. That's a pretty large amount of damage increase just for simply adding the bow on. And I could make that 375 higher by hitting the masterworking on it, and obviously just beefing it up to 12 ranks. So it's going to get a hell of a lot more of a multiplier there for the precision key passive. So if that's what you're scaling, the Skyhunter is not a bad choice. And it also gives you the ability to have almost like infinite energy through that 60 return. Now, the only problem that I have about the energy return thing is that there's tons of ways to get energy back these days. You don't necessarily have to be using the Skyhunter to get like almost infinite energy. The Starlight aspect is absolutely amazing now. There's tons of ways to add healing into your character. You can also use the Innervation passive. The new Umber Crops comes with extra points in Innervation, which is going to help you out even more. And you're also going to be giving up your two-handed aspect slot for this, so you might want to take a look and see if this is the best choice for your character. But I think out of the 3 bows, out of Skyhunter, Wind Force, and Eaglehorn, I think this is the one that's most well balanced and specific to the precision key passive. And if you're using the precision key passive, this one is something that you may want to consider, especially since it scales your precision key passive tremendously with all of the additional critical strike damage that it gives your character. On top of that, the generic chance for marksman skills to cast twice is also very nice, because that means that you could potentially get a basic and a core going at 2 times, which is also going to be very effective in terms of your damage output. I think that's pretty much it for this. If you are looking to find this bow, you can check out the target farming tool. It's pretty easy. You just go ahead to Diablo4.life, tools, target farming uniques, and in here we have the Skyhunter, and as you can see, Skyhunter drops from Lord Zir and Echo of Varshan. Those are the 2 bosses that you can target farm this one for if you're looking for like a really, really good one. I was trying to farm myself a really, really good one back in Season 4 and failed miserably, and then this season I ended up getting some pretty decent rolls on a couple of these, which is kind of upsetting because I tried so hard last season, couldn't get a freaking single one, and this season I've got like several of them now. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these videos. Me and Mr. Nimoy appreciate the support. And if you do want to support the channel, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And as always, keep watching.